Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek with bandana tonight because it's really, really warm. I've got my little air conditioning thing blowing cooling air towards me and the ceiling fans on. It's bloody warm. Anywho, so that's why I've got my bandana on and not my cap, which is up there. Welcome to Friday Night Upon with Fear, number 92, getting to 100, aren't we? Nearly. And this week we're doing The Fourth Kind, which is a alien abduction / supernatural chiller, faux documentary, found footage, call it whatever you want, it has everything. And Archmage Frey's here, and not Archmage, Windgrace is here. I get them mixed up because they look very much alike. Anyway, it says, there are 4 kinds. Because Windgrace is a Star Trek fan. There are 4 lights. Nice lines, Nazca. I presume that's from the you're looking at the old thingamabobs that were in the little intro bit, because it's about ancient Sumerian. It's kind of got ancient aliens connotations as well, which we'll get to in the film. Right. So before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube. Yes, we are. Let me hit live there. We're live on Rumble. Thank God Rumble's back. And we're live on Twitch as well. And as I said, the only reason I keep doing Twitch is because Archmage Frey sometimes pops in. Apart from that, no idea why I still keep doing Twitch. What else? I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts. Where are we? Just bear with me. Links in the description for Facebook, X, and Instagram. As I've links to my 2 books, might as well plug them as soon as I've got them here. Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and stuff like that. I can't remember if there's any ancient Sumerian stuff in it. I don't know, I can't remember. But it's that long ago I wrote it. Excuse me. A Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats eating people in a North Yorkshire village. So there we go. Put these blue DVDs back. That's the one we're watching tonight, The Fourth Kind. And I've dug some others out that we're going to be doing at a future date, but I won't tell you what they are yet. Anyway, and there's another one here. Hang on, where is it? That arrived today. Oh, I can't get it. It's got something on top of it. And another one arrived today. A Blu-ray arrived today for a future episode. Right. Is that it? Right. So, The Fourth Kind. Let's get on with it. Directed by Olatande Osunsanmi. I probably got that wrong. Probably butchered that. Was more famous now for being one of the main Star Trek Discovery directors. I don't know if he's done any Strange New Worlds. He might have done, I don't know. But he's more famous for his Star Trek Discovery stuff. But this was his first film. It was also screenplay by him, and story by Olatunde and Terry Lee Robbins. Stars Milla Jovovich, Will Patton, Elias Koteas, and some others. Hang on, Hakeem K. Kazim, Corey Johnson, Enzo Silenti, and some others. It had a budget of $10 million and got nearly $50 million at the box office, so it did okay at the pictures. But it didn't get good reviews. Let's have a look. Critical response received mainly negative reviews. It got an 18% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see if that's still true. I just want to check. See if it is. Rotten Tomatoes. The Fourth Kind I'm looking for. I should have got all this ready beforehand, shouldn't I? What the heck? We're live. Okay. Oh, bog off. Oh, it's done it. It's all right. You have got an ad blocker. That's what it's telling me. It's what it's saying bog off for. Pop-ups. Yes, well, an 18% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 41% audience score. Again, as I've said before on other stuff, the audience score is based on the percentage of the audience that gave it a good score, 3.5 stars out of 5. So 41% gave it a good score. So that's not too bad, I suppose, for a cheapo, lowish budget horror film. top critics only 11% score, which is a bit harsh because I really like this film. So critics be damned. A sci-fi quest is here saying hello, shouting hello into the void. Oh, dear. I saw this one at the theatre. Cool. It says hello to sci-fi quest. I didn't. I encountered this on Blu-ray, not Blu-ray, on DVD. There. And I really liked it because I like me found footage stuff. And this technically it's not found footage, but it is kind of interspersed in there. It's done as a faux documentary or not a mockumentary because that's like Spinal Tap, innit? What's the phrase apart from faux? Let's have a look. What does it say here? Pseudo documentary. That's it. A pseudo documentary. But anywho, what else? I think that's about it, really, isn't it? So there we go. Off we go. By the way, it's supposed to be set in Alaska, Nome, Alaska, and sorry, I'll get it out of the way already. So I'll just share my screen a minute. Where have I put it? Here we go. Right. It's supposed to be set in Nome, Alaska. Just bear with me. This is what they want you to think that Nome, Alaska looks like. This is actually Squamish. Is that how you pronounce it? Let me just double check. Yes, Squamish, British Columbia. So they want you to think that that's Nome in Alaska. But actually Nome in Alaska looks like... I have to remove it again. Oh, do I? Yes, I do. Nome, Alaska actually looks like this. A slight difference. It's like a bloody billiard table, isn't it? And throughout the film, they tell us that Nome, Alaska has loads of forests and trees, which it doesn't. It was actually filmed in Bulgaria, apart from the aerial shots of Squamish. The rest of it was filmed in Bulgaria. So there we go. So it's European forests we're seeing. I was probably drawn there by Milla Jovovich. I've always called her Jovovich, but I know it's Jovovich now because she actually says her name in the film, as we'll see. Anyway, right. So, right, let's get on with the film. Now I've got that out of the way. We'll get on the film. Right, so I will. Oops, I've done something wrong. What have I done? Do that again. Get out of that. I've done something. I've pressed the wrong button. Or I've mashed the buttons. What have I done now? All right. Oh, F10 brings up the... I didn't know that. F10 brings up the menu bar. Right. I mashed F10 and 11 at the same time. Right, are we going? Just make sure it's going to come on. Yes, it is. Right. Right. But before we start, Windgrace says maybe she's like Shooty. She changed how to say it halfway through her life. I doubt it very much. Right, so I'm going to have to adjust things for a moment. Just get rid of them. Make myself titchy tiny. Down there I go. Spladosh. Right, off we go. Does she hunt monsters? Sort of, but not really. Not in this one. It's not Monster Hunter, which I've not seen. My son's seen it. He says it's all right. He prefers the games. Right. Off we go. Right, anyway. There we go. All right, as usual, we'll not be just watching the film, because I'll get into all sorts of trouble from YouTube. So we'll be watching a series of stills. I may play the odd snippet, but we'll be watching a series of stills, and I'll try and remember what happened in the film. There's not a huge amount of information about the film, like in terms of special features on the disc. No special features on the bloody DVD. A short documentary that is available on YouTube. If you type in The Fourth Kind, pardon me, and find The Fourth Kind YouTube channel, that was created for the film. It's still around, and there's there's two brief documentaries on there. One about an interview with a woman that's a researcher into UFO abductions, and she talks about some of the things that they portray in the film, such as waking up at certain times, like 3:33 or 11:11, stuff like that, or 1:11, or whatever. Numbers like that keep cropping up with people with sleep disorders and stuff. Anyway, and there's another one about it says making of, but it's not really. It's just like a promotional thing that's like 8 minutes. But anyway, do they sculpt a mountain from smashed potato? No, they don't. No, they don't. That's the third kind. This is the fourth kind, which is scarier. Anyway, right, so off we go. There we go. There's the good old Universal logo. There it is. And off we jolly well go. Right, we begin. Here she comes. Here comes Milla Jovovich coming out of her blurriness. Here she is. She's gorgeous, isn't she? She needs to eat a few pies and stuff, I think, but she's a bit scrawny for me, but she's lovely. Right, so here she is. So she's introducing herself. There you go. I am actress Milla Jovovich, she says. So straight up, it's it's a film, and she's portraying. She says she's portraying Dr. Abigail Tyler, and we're telling her story, and it's a film with alleged real footage, except it's not. Spoilers, and with dramatic reenactments in it. So that's what it's all about. There we go. She was a psychologist in Nome, and we see another. I've got a lot of psychologists in Alaska. There's hardly anybody lives there, is there? But anyway, whatever. So we're listening. So she's telling us that we're listening to her story. There's an interview between her, the real Abigail Tyler, except it's not. It's an actress, but and the director who plays himself in the film. So anyway, they also tell us that people's names have been changed, names and occupations have been changed to protect the innocent. Anyway, she has come a long way from Return to the Blue Lagoon. I wouldn't know. I've never seen it. I didn't even know she was in that. I didn't even know there was a Return to the Blue Lagoon. Anyway, so I keep pausing it on, stupid pause face, don't I? See if I can. There you go. So anyway, so that's what we're going to be watching. That's what she's explaining, that we're going to be watching a dramatic reenactment interspersed with real footage and audio from, taped interviews and sessions, hypnosis sessions and stuff like that. But in the end, it's up to us to believe what we decide. What believe is true is up to us. And I must admit, it's done really well. And I remember when I first saw it, I did actually have to look up. I thought, is this real or not? Is there a Dr. Abigail Tyler? And it didn't take me very long to find out that, no, she's an actress. So anyway, so here we go. Off we go. There we go. So that's supposedly the real Dr. Abigail Tyler, except it's not. She's called, I'll tell you. Where is she? Oh, for God's sake, I can't believe I find it. Hang on. Oh, for Pete's sake. I had it here somewhere. Where the bloody hell have I put it? There we go. Sorry, found it. Charlotte Milchard plays the real Abigail Tyler. And she's British, but she puts on a decent accent. She's got a bit of a kind of unhinged performance here, as though she's not quite all there, and you can tell she doesn't look well, which is I think deliberate. I think they've picked somebody who kind of looks a bit sunken-eyed and drawn, but she's kind of scrawny. We see her, before the incident, she's still thin, very thin. Anyway. It's all true. My sources say so. You and your bloody sources. Everybody's got bloody sources except for me. I'm going to start making some up. Like everybody else. Anyway, right. So, they're interviewing Dr. Abigail Tyler in September 2002. The film is supposed to take place early in October in the year 2000. So, it's 24 years ago now. And there's Olatande Osunsanmi. Ollie, as opposed to his friend. I bet they do. I bet they call him Ollie on set. I bet that's what they call him. And apparently he's a protege of Joe Carnahan, a film director who did stuff like Narc, Smoking Aces, The A-Team, The Grey, films like that. So, there we go. So he's a protege of him. And as I said, he's gone on to do Star Trek. Who needs sauces? You can have sauce with your sausage roll. Yeah. You can have sauce with your chips as well, if you want to. If you want to. Bit of tomato ketchup, doesn't go amiss. Or a bit of brown sauce on a bacon sandwich. I prefer not to, but a lot of people do. Anyway, so here she is. She's interviewing. She's been interviewed by the director to learn her story. So off we go. Where would you like to begin? Begin at the beginning. That's a very good place to start. If you notice, it's not showing all of the seat that she's in. They're kind of supposed to look similar seats that they're in. But we learn by the end, spoilers, she's actually in a wheelchair. She's not well. But anyway. Right, so we learned at the beginning her husband had recently, before these events happened in 2000, her husband had died. And she thinks he was murdered. Or she says, she's sure, she's certain he was murdered. And she blames the local police, the local sheriff, played by Will Patton. She blames him not blames him for the murder, but saying that, the killer's still out there and all that. But the police know what happened, and she's kind of in denial about what really happened. But by the end of the film, we know what's happened. Cod and tartar sauce with my chips, please. Fair enough. You're a southerner. You don't know any better. Anyway, right, so off we go. Flash into the film. So, right, this is actual audio. Actual. At Campos Care in Anchorage. Right, so a friend of hers is Dr. Abel Campos, alias, played by Elias Koteas. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And he's got a practice in Anchorage in Alaska. She's got to fly there from Nome. So she's having sessions with him. So to try and come to terms with her loss. So here she is talking about it. And there she is. Milla Jovovich as Dr. Abigail Tyler. And she doesn't want to accept that her husband was murdered in the marital bed. Stabbed to death, she says. I don't know why she says that. I don't know, but anyway, whatever. And there he is. There's Elias Koteas as hang on, does it say? Just is it going to show us in a minute? Oh, never mind. As Dr. Abel Campos, alias, right? Then we're showing that he's videoing the session, and then it intersperses, a bit like 24. It like cuts in the real footage of the real Dr. Tyler, except it's not. I liked Alias, thought it was a good show. Ha ha ha! I've never seen it, but I know it's got what's her face in, hasn't it? Electra. I forgot her name now, but yeah. That was a J.J. Abrams series. Started out as what it is anyway. Right, so they're talking away, and obviously she can't come to terms with it. And there we go, so he's hypnotising her. So, anyway, so he's hypnotised her, and going back to what happened that night. There we go. He says, we're making love. Thank goodness she doesn't go into all the nitty-gritty details of their love making. Or at least it doesn't show it. The making love, he says it's nice, and then his next sentence, he's asleep. So typical bloke. Then she wakes up screaming and all that, and hello, Laura. Thanks for coming. She wakes up, and then something's wrong. There we go, and her husband is being stabbed to death. That's how she remembers it. There she's screaming. She sees, hang on, is that it there? She sees somebody stabbing him. So she's screaming and all that stuff. So he brings her out. Oh, she can't see who stabbed them. She knows there's somebody there in the room, she says, but she can't see the face. And but then she starts going hysterical. So he brings her out of the hypnotic trance, and everything's back to normal. Right. So, she doesn't know what happened. It's a bit like in The Howling, they're trying to get through to, I forgot about the name now. Me and names. As soon as I start, I think I can never remember any names. Dee Wallace. As soon as they're trying to hypnotise Dee Wallace, but she can't remember what happened at the beginning, in the with the werewolves. Anyway, whatever. But anyway, so they suggest that she goes back to. He suggests that she takes some time off work because she's a psychologist in Nome. That she takes some time off work, but she says she can't. She's got patients and stuff like that that need her attention, and she's got to continue her husband's work. Her husband was a psychologist as well, and I think they were both kind of working on the same thing. But she had, I think he was a researcher, but whether she had a practice helping people, and I think he was researching what were wrong with some of her patients. She's got patients that have like sleep problems, waking up in the night or feeling presences in the room and stuff like that. It's an alien abduction thing, so that's what's going on. But she wants to continue that. So anyway, so off she goes, back to Nome. So here she goes through the... she's flying herself as well, by the looks. It's showing, she's an accomplished pilot, I imagine. Here she is. There you go. So she's going back to Nome, over the snow. And... there we go. We're going to see. This is Nome, Alaska. Yeah, of course it is. Squamish, British Columbia. It looks nice though, doesn't it? I wouldn't mind living there myself. It looks lovely. Bet it gets cold in winter though. But I bet Nome gets colder because Nome's way up north, isn't it? Apparently the trees in Nome, Alaska don't get any higher than 8 feet. I'm doing like that as though I'm like 10 feet tall, but never mind. Never get higher than 8 feet tall to the trees in Nome, Alaska. Because of the cold conditions and stuff. Right, so here she coming into land at Nome Airport, I imagine. And this is to drive to her house in the trees, the 8-foot-tall trees of Nome, Alaska. E.T. for Nome, yes. I wonder if they did T-shirts like that. I bet somebody must have done. There must be some wag in the crew that had a T-shirt with that on. Anyway, so here she is. She's coming home. Oh no, she's going to her office. So she's come from the airport straight to her office because she's got a patient waiting. So in she goes. This is Scott. I think this is Scott. I'll have to check. Yes, he is Scott Straczynski, played by Enzo Silenti. Never heard of him, but there he is. So he's the first patient of hers that we see. Actually, we only see 2, I think. Well, or maybe 3. No, there might be another one that we see. They're all having a similar problems. They're waking up in the middle of the night, usually at 3:33, and they're seeing an owl. That's what they're seeing. So there she's asking him all about it, and. There's another one there. Look, another one. Lady this time is having a similar problem, seeing an owl, and then we see this chap who's been in everything, hasn't he, this fella? Corey Johnson. Look at his IMDb. He's been in everything, except for Stargate, Star Trek. I don't think. Or it might have been. I don't know. So they're all having a similar problem. Seeing this owl. There we go. And obviously, owls are. If you're into UFO research and abduction research and stuff like that, owls are a big factor. A lot of people say that, they see owls around before they're abducted. They even used them in that Steven Spielberg series, Taken. I think they showed an owl in that kind of transformed into an alien. It's because of the big eyes, isn't it? Owls have got big eyes. This film's all about screen memories and stuff like that, although they don't use that term in this. So there we go. So, right, so... I think she's hypnotising him now, I think. Or maybe. Oh, no, she's not yet. She does in a minute. So they're all having a similar experiences. And I think we end with... do we end with Scott or do we end with the other fella? Can't remember. Yes, this is where we're learning that, they're remembering this stuff now with the owl and that, and it's somehow it gets into the room and it's looking over them. Sometimes it's smiling. Owl smiling, but then they feel like, there you go, that line's like that, like it didn't happen, as though something's suppressing the memory. That's what's happening to them. But obviously she wants to see him again, because there we go, she's suggesting that other people are having the same experience. She wants to get to the bottom of it. There you go. You're not the first patient I've had that's described these episodes. Right, so she's driving off now. I think she's going to school now to pick up her kid. There we go, Gnome Elementary, amongst the trees. And there's her daughter. I forgot, Ashley. Ashley is her daughter. And she's gone blind. She wasn't born blind, but since her husband died, she's lost her sight for some reason. It was some sort of hysterical blindness. You actually saw it, didn't you? We saw that in Band of Brothers, didn't we? One of the soldiers in Band of Brothers got like hysterical blindness, didn't he? Sci-fi quest, I'll know. So she's kind of got that. She's lost her sight since the death of her husband, Abigail's husband, not Ashley's, her dad, since her dad died. Right, she's picking her up from school. Right, there she is, looking a bit sad and depressed. Right, so they're going home. She's sad that her dad's died, obviously. Anyway, right, so sitting down to dinner. Oh, that's her son over this side. What's he called? I forgot. Ronnie. It's called Ronnie. I just remembered. Maybe named after Richard Dreyfuss's wife in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. She was called Ronnie, wasn't she? I bet that's not a coincidence. Anyway, they're saying grace, etc. Which suggests they may be kind of religious. I'd never thought of it till now, because there are religious connotations to this film. As we go on. Anyway, they're having meatballs and pasta. Right, so anyway. So that's where we're learning that Ronnie's not a big fan of his mother. I don't know if he's sort of upset about his dad dying, obviously, but I think he maybe is coming to terms with it better than she is. As I say, at the end we find out how his dad really died. Clue, he wasn't stabbed to death. Anyway, and we're also finding out that because of her work and stuff like that, she's kind of neglecting Ronnie, and also because she's got to look after Ashley a bit more because she can't see. Ronnie's essentially got to look after himself, so she's missing his things at school and stuff like that, his sports stuff and all stuff like that. Anyway, there we go. They're talking about how dad died, and obviously they don't want to talk about it. So, problems in the family, which is not surprising. Right, what's happening now? There we go. An owl. Is that a barn owl? Probably. I don't know. I'm not big on owls. But there we go. We've got an owl, or owls, around us. Sometimes hear them on the night going. Kind of cool. I've never seen one, but I've heard them. Anyway, right, so there we go, there's an owl. I don't know seeing that, but it's there. Right. So we're hearing the actual Dr. Tyler talking, but Right, she's looking into her husband Will's books, his research. There we go, and there's a phone number and a name, Dr. Awalon Odesamu, or whatever. So she has to phone that number in a minute, and there you can see he's looking into ancient Sumerian stuff. This is where the ancient aliens bits come in. There it was Awaloa Odosami. There we go. Dead languages. Sumerian, the first book of the series, brings to life the Sumerian civilization and presents millennia-old evidence of the existence of Nibiru. Yeah, see, if you're into ancient aliens, you know what I'm on about. Weaving the story of humanity's origins by means of archaeology, mythology, and something else. Hang on. Let's see if it'll let us see a bit. Oh, it's going away. It's not supposed to be going away. It's supposed to be getting closer. Let's go back. Oh, it isn't, is it? It's not showing us it all. And the ancient, I think, I don't know what that says. Ancient texts. I can't read the rest because it's gone blurry. Right, so... is the Eric von Daniken of this film. And then she starts listening to a recording that Will made. There we go, Will on recording. And he's talking about that, there you go, people are still having the sleep disorders. And there's quite a lot of them, apparently, in Nome. In this film, they suggest, I don't know if it's true, I'm sure, I think at the time I did look it up and it's not true. Not entirely, but they suggest that there's more missing people in Nome, Alaska than per person, or per head of population than anywhere else in the United States. But I don't know if that's entirely true. It could be, I don't know. But they said that the FBI have visited the town 2,000 times, in so many years, since 19 whatever. But in Anchorage, which has 75 times the population of Nome, they've only visited there 353 times or whatever. So anyway, so people are disappearing. Are they all being abducted by aliens and not being brought back? So that's another thing we have to think about. They all get eaten by wolves and bears, yes, and owls, man-eating owls. Right. So this is what he's researching. She's listening to his recording, and Ashley hears it. She goes, "Daddy," and she comes in. There you go. Says, "Oh no, I was just listening to him on the tape." So anyway, then we're back in. I think we're in her office now. Then we've seen she's got some fish. I presume this is symbolic. Goldfish or whatever. Not supposed to have memories, are they? So this is all about memories, is this film. Right, so this is it. I think she's going to hypnotise. I forgot his name. Hang on, bear with me. Tommy Fisher. She's going to hypnotise Tommy. Just a minute. So I was looking up something. I've highlighted some information. Apparently when this film came out, the movie's hoaxed interviews have angered the families of real missing persons in and around Nome, Alaska, for trivialising their loss. You make a film about anything, you're gonna upset somebody, aren't you? But anyway, where were we? Right, she's hypnotising Tommy. So here we go. And then we start cutting from the film to the the recorded footage. There, she's got a beta cam or whatever the hell it is. There it is. Right, so that's the real Tommy Fisher being hypnotised. So it starts talking about the owl and stuff like that. Sees the owl. Then he starts freaking out because something wants to come in and he goes and lets it in. So he starts freaking out. And they go, no. She tries to wake him up. On the count to 3, you wake up and it's not working. So he's freaking out and he starts smashing the place up, and eventually he comes round and he's all apologetic. Did I do that? She says, no, it's fine. That reminds me, I need to get a stand for my fish tank so I can set it up. Poor fish. Get your fish a stand. Have you got any fish for your fish tank yet? Or is it for something else? So what did he see? And he, obviously the memory has faded. He can't remember. So nothing. So which says it doesn't. He says it's like it never happened. That other woman said. So it's a case of like blocked memories and stuff like that. Right, and then we see the fish again. Memory. Fish have no memory, do they? Right. So where are we now? Is that supposed to be Nome? Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's supposed to be Nome at night. Very nice. Anyway, then we get a 911 call. There we go. It's supposed to be actual audio. So anyway, this is Tommy's house, and apparently he's got a gun out. There you go. Shots fired. So they're sending the police over to Tommy's house. He's got a gun. He's gone crazy. There we go. And then we get the police cam footage. So they're heading over, and this is where we're introduced. Is it going to show him? This is where we're introduced. There we go. To Will Patton as Sheriff August. Alias. They're all aliases apart from Abigail Tyler. Oh, pardon me. It's no fish, but I did have some red bellies years ago, though. Did you get some cream for it? Joking. Anyway, I like Will Patton. He's good in he does a lot of these sort of weird, kind of supernaturally films. Well, he's done a couple, hasn't he? Like the Mothman Prophecies and this. In fact, that's the only two I can think of. But I like him anyway. So he plays the sheriff. So anyway, so here they go. They arrive at Tommy Fisher's house, and he's got a gun, and he's fired it, to get the police there. He says he wants to talk to Abby Tyler. So he phones up Abigail Tyler. There's the actual police footage. And there you go. She's with the kids. Is the wife. So he phones Abby up. Says, Tommy's gone crazy. He's got a gun, etc. He wants to talk to you. Says, right, I'll be right over. So here she comes. She's talking to him on the phone. I don't know how they're recording the phone conversation. I don't know, but maybe the police are able to do that. I don't know, but anyway. So there he is talking to her on the phone, and he's being hysterical now. He's grabbed hold of his wife. The kids are over here. You can see the pixelated their faces. He grabbed hold of his wife because he's still got the gun, and she's trying to calm him down. He says he hasn't got a choice, and he needs. Basically, he wants them out of his head, and then he says the word, doing the old 24 sort of stuff, split screens, and he says, I don't want to have to see it ever again, or whatever he's seeing, and then he says, what does, I forgot the term, I forgot the phrase, hang on, I can never remember, Zimabu Eta, he says, what does Zimabu Eta mean? And so that's that's a clue. And by the way, they've got a sniper. Can you get a shot on him? And that's what they say negative. The wife's in the way. There you go. Zimabu Eta. What does that mean? So obviously that's the word he's getting, or a phrase he's getting in his sleep or whatever, or during his abductions. So she obviously doesn't know. She says, you've got to give us time to work it all out. But no, he shoots his wife. He's going to show it. Shoots his wife, then shoots the kids, and then shoots himself. A murder-suicide. If I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, I don't know, but that's what's happened. So anyway, they all go in, and obviously she's distraught, and it's all very sad. And now she's being questioned, at the police station now. And she's, got to explain that she hypnotised him, and he had this reaction to it, and she never thought he'd go like this, but she did phone his wife and tell her to keep an eye on him. But she says, I never thought he'd snap quite like this. And August isn't buying it, and he's blaming her. He's thinking, gosh, she's hypnotised him. She's put him in some sort of state where he's killed his entire family. So anyway, she's telling him about the owl and stuff. But anyway, so he's angry about it, and he's kind of blaming her, and she says that's ridiculous and offensive, and she's going to leave, and it's you can't blame her. I've been a psychologist for 13 years, and this has never happened, etc. And then he gets angry with her and says, there's a family dead on the slab. That's what's ridiculous. And then she brings up her husband, saying, you haven't found the killer of my husband. He says, we know what happened to your husband. And there you go. You know damn well what happened to Will. So, but anyway. Right, so we see that they don't get on. So she goes home. And then we see the real Abigail Tyler continuing her story. Right, she's doing a bit of dictation now, and then she falls asleep with the recorder still playing. There you go. We have to proceed with extreme caution. She falls asleep, the recorder's still on. And we'll come back to that, I think, in a bit. Right, so she's going to her office. What's his face has arrived. Elias Katias has Abel Campos. He's arrived in Nome to make sure she's okay. There we go. She's giving the tape thing to her secretary, assistant, whatever you want to call them, to transcribe. And that's when she finds out, stuff's happened after she's fallen asleep. So she's probably, that assistant's probably going to be scarred for life after what she hears. But anyway, there again, he's telling her maybe she should take some time off. But, she needs to find out what's causing all this stuff. Right. So now she's with I forgot his bloody name already. Scott. Yes, she's with Scott and his wife, and he's having a similar thing to what Tommy had, and learning that he's So anyway, I think there's because it's a small town. There's rumours going around what's happened, and I think Scott and his family are afraid that something might happen to him, as you can see. So they're saying, they want her to put him under to find out what's going on. So anyway, so she's unsure about it, but she does anyway. So right, so that's what they're going to do. So she's filming that and hypnotising Scott. They sees the owl. There we go. Then we cut to the real Scott. And doesn't look like a normal owl. Oh, wow, why doesn't look like a normal owl? 'Cause it's a bloody alien, that's why. Then he starts having a freak out. He has a proper freak out later on. Anyway, there you go. Someone's outside. Someone's at the door. They've got to let him in, whatever. Anyway. So it doesn't go well. There we go. He ends up screaming, and it's like he's drowning. You hear this noise as he's, as though something's choking him or waterboarding him or something. But anyway, she brings him out of it, and so she said, "Take him, but keep an eye on him." And she says, because of what's happened, I'm gonna have to tell the sheriff about about this, just to be on the safe side. I mean, she's covering her own bottom. Anyway, so right, so they're going to send him home, and but obviously he's terrified of what's going on. Oh, well, there we go, and there we go. The smell like putrid cinnamon. Something they didn't say sulphur or something like that, but a horrible smell is accompanying his experience, which is another suggestion that it might not be aliens. It could be something else, something more supernatural or metaphysical, demonic, you might say. Anywho, right, so they're going to send him home and obviously, keep him under close observation. Right, so off they go. Obviously, Abel doesn't believe in alien abduction. She's trying to get him, say, do you believe in alien abduction theory? And, obviously he doesn't. But she's thinking, she's coming round to it thinking that something's going on here with all these people. But then we learn that, Will was researching this stuff. Anyway. And this starts going on about 11 million people in the US or something claim to have had an alien abduction experience, something like that, won't it? I suppose I've got that from Bud Hopkins' research. He was a famous UFO alien abduction researcher, or he was. He's passed away now. Anyway, there we go. They're trying to explain hypnagogic hallucinations, which I think there's two in there. There's hypnagogic and hypnopompic and hypnagogic, isn't there? So what's hypnagogic? I don't know. Is it hypnopompic is when you're going to sleep and something happens, and hypnagogic is when you wake up. I can't remember. Anyway, whatever. All right, so this is when her assistant bursts in. Abby, the tape, and this is where we learn that something happened when after she fell asleep, and so right, Abby on the recording. This is what we're hearing, and all goes quiet. She's dictating, and then obviously she falls asleep. And anyway, so that's what we're learning. What is it? What's happened here is tragic, but remains unexplained. And then it all goes quiet for a while. Oh, and worse, unsolved. Like Will. Then it goes quiet. And then she's falling asleep with the heavy breathing. And then suddenly, screams! And we hear noises and stuff like that. Something's happened. Screaming continues. And then we hear a weird voice, untranslated. When it sings like orangey yellow, that's the aliens speaking, or the whatever's speaking. In Sumerian, we learn Pardon me. Untranslated. So there you go, unknown voice. Hang on, we'll listen to a bit of it so you know. Let me go back. Right, forward again. Right, unmute it. Stuff like that. God knows how they translate it, 'cause it just sounds like a noise to me, but anyway. Right, so, recording ends. Right, so she's got to get that translated. And this is when she phones up that fella off that book. So there you go. She's and she also finds out now, is it here, where she's got something on her arm, on her shoulder. Or it might not be this yet. What's happening here? She kind of maybe remembering what happened, you know, a light in the house and stuff like that. But there you go, showing doors opening and stuff, but you don't see anything. Someone coming in, she's listening to the recording, that's what she's doing. Something's coming into her room, and that's it. She's got something on her shoulder there, on her shoulder blade, whatever, scapula, is it? Or is that the other side? Whatever. Scoop marks, they call them, don't they? But it just looks like something manky's there. They're going to show it. Never mind. Is it going to show it? You're going to show it? No, it didn't. Never mind. You saw it there, didn't you? There we go. Yeah, that. They come scoop marks, don't they? You know, where the aliens have been probing her, basically. Right. She looks on the floor. She can see scratches on the floor as though she's been dragged out and, out of the room. There we go. The fingernails. Oh, makes me cringe. Anyway, so she's got to figure out what's going on. And this is, related to what happened to Will. Then we cut to the 24 style split screens. Anyway, and then we see Will in his youth. Right, so she's going to phone up Awolowo. So here she is. She got his number there. She phones up, and he says, hello. And says, have you been contacted by, Dr. Will Tyler? And he says, no. And he says, who's calling? And she just hangs up. She panics and hangs up. And but then he phones her back. Because we're looking in the book there. Is it going to... hang on, just a minute. There we go. Place of Shem, rockets. It's all about, the Tower of Babel and stuff like that. Ancient Sumerian apparently was... in the Bible, it was called Sinai, the kingdom of Sinai, where the Tower of Babel apparently were built. That was Sumerian, ancient Babylon and all that, and and places like that. And I say some people think the Tower of Babel, be included, was possibly a rocket. There you go. Anyway, right. So anyway, he phones back, and there we go. And he says a man phoned him from this number, but said his name was something else, John or something. And asked about asked about ancient Sumerian translations and whatever. But called himself John. He says, there's no John here. He says, I know. But anyway, he's going to help. He wants to help. So, and then we stop on Origin, Windgrace. Hallowed are the Ori. Anyway. Then she tells him that her husband's been murdered, but we learn later on that that's not what happened. But anyway. And she says, he were kind, with Dr. Awolowo, and he didn't judge her or try to analyse her, and he flies out to help. There's the owl again. And here he is doing the translation now. He's arrived and he's translating what's on the tape, her tape that where we hear the weird voices. Oh, let's have a drink. Make sure we're still going. Let's have a breather. Make sure we're still going. Yep, we are. We're still going. Right. So here he is, right. So he starts translating now. In a minute, there we go. Igika Isa. I don't know how you pronounce it. And it plays it as well, but I can't hear that. when you, I'll rewind and we'll listen again to this bit. I'll unmute it. That didn't sound like that, did it? Oh, you were. It's like these ghost hunting things on like YouTube where they have what they call them, spirit boxes or whatever they call them, where they say they hear something and it sounds like completely something else, doesn't it? But anyway, whatever. Anyway, so he's translating that. What does he say? There we go. Examine is the first word, and there's another word that's something else. Hang on, where are we? Right, that's what ruin or destroy. So examine, ruin or destroy, and there's something else as well. Oh no, must be that. Examine. The last word is ruin or destroy. So that's not very good. All right, our creation, examine, ruin or destroy. So basically, the aliens consider humans to be their property. They can do whatever they want with them, essentially. By the end of the film, they're saying that they're God. But anyway, and there you go, she's saying it sounds aggressive. But it's, yes, it is, I suppose, but they don't give a monkeys, do they? Whatever it is. Right, so, the line, he says the voice, it doesn't sound, natural. Or human. But obviously Abel's not convinced, and so... But he says, he's just dealing with the facts, what he's translated and stuff like that, and proper research. He's not some kook. But Abel's still not convinced. And he said, he tries to explain on the tape, the voices that they hear are different to Abby's. Says Abby's voice sounded fine, and he says, well, maybe it's another recording. You've recorded over it, and whatever you've recorded over is bleeding through. And she says, oh, I know, I never reuse tapes. And he says, well, maybe you did this time. Occam's razor and all that. But he says, well, whatever. He says that voice is speaking a language that's, hasn't been spoken for like 6,000 years or whatever. There we go. Predates Egyptian hieroglyphics. So, anyway, so he's intrigued. Here we go. He's talking about... ancient Sumerian carvings and stuff like that show what appear to be rockets or flying saucers, take your pick, in reliefs, etc. In ziggurats and places like that. So you go to any Sumerian exhibit and you'll see the same things. There we go, things that look like rockets and spaceships and all that stuff. And llamas, apparently. They have llamas in ancient Sumeria. Maybe they'd been to South America. If it is a llama, I don't know. Looks like one. Anyway, so there we go. We were talking about it, Wingrace, weren't we? That what fate Amaroka? That's from ancient Sumeria in Stargate SG-1. What fate is it, Amaroka? Something like that. That's I think they're trying to suggest that in that SG-1 episode. That the alien in that and one of the Anunnaki, because he came out of the sea. The ancient Sumerian gods were called the Anunnaki. They came out of the sea, didn't they? Or from space, or both. And enslaved humans, or created humans to be a slave race. But anywho. Right. And he's doing this Eric von Daniken thing now, where they have carvings of people looking to be wearing oxygen masks and helmets and stuff like that. So there you go. So he's convinced something weird is going on. Amaroka, yes. And he talks about that the creation myth from the Bible, Genesis and Noah's Ark. Those stories were found, before the Old Testament were written. The Hebrew scriptures were written. They were found in Sumerian, the Epic of Gilgamesh and all that, weren't they? Right, so that's he set up his stall as the Doctor. And obviously, Abel's not convinced. But anyway. Right. The phone rings. It rings for quite a while before she answers it. and she's to go over. It's Scott's wife, and Scott's freaking out. So they go bombing over to Scott's. There we go. Through the mountains of Nome. Remember what it looks like in real life. With its 8-foot tall trees. Actually, that's probably about the highest a tree gets in Nome. That one. Not that. Like I said, this was probably filmed in Bulgaria. Somewhere in the forests of Bulgaria. Anyway. If they glow, they're from the abyss. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. NTIs. Non-terrestrial intelligences. Which actually kind of suggested at the end of this film. I think they call them non-human intelligences at the end of this film. So they're like, hedging the bets, either extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional or demonic or all of the above. I've always said the UFO phenomenon, UAP, whatever you want to call it, is an all-of-the-above phenomenon. It's got everything. Anyway, so they all pile over to Scott's house. There we go, 283 Mockingbird Lane, whatever. I don't know. There you go, she introduces. This is Dr. Odesami. He's here to help. So they all go in there. Scott's in bed, looking quite awkward. But we see that, there you go, she said, we're coming to help you, etc. And said, what's up with your arm? Why are you looking at him? Why are you covering your arm up? We see he's got, there we go, a big triangle on his arm that he's been scratching. So he's been abducted, hasn't he? And there's left marks on him, like the one on her shoulder. Anyway, so he says he don't want to be hypnotised. He don't want to go through all that again. He says, we can just put you in a light hypnosis. Is there such a thing? I don't know. Pardon me. I've never been hypnotised, so I don't know. I don't think I'd make a good, hypnotic subject. I don't think I can't relax enough to be hypnotised. Anyway, but she talks him into it. He finally says, we need to record it to find out what's going on. Then he says, okay, then you can hypnotise me. So, right, so off we go. Anyway, right, so there you go. I'll do it. So they get ready. Then we see the real footage of what's going on. So she hypnotises him, and then he suddenly sits up screaming. In a minute, is he going to do it now? Hang on. Scott roaring. There we go. And when stuff happens, when the aliens are around, they're not technically around. Well, they are sometimes, but in this instance, they're not actually there. But they're obviously influencing him because they start speaking through him, but they're not actually in the room. But it's annoying as hell. It makes all the tape go all weird like that, so you can hardly see what's happening, which is annoying. But anyway, there we go. They're all gasping. Scott's roaring. There we go. That I can't see it. Never mind. And the voice starts coming through, I think, and it starts levitating. It was levitating above the bed, and then we go the Sumerian voice. It says her name, Abby Tyler. Don't call her Abigail, so they're being quite familiar. They basically warn her off. They say, stop your research or something like that. No need pray. I hear. There we go. End study. I think the time they're warning her off, saying, stop interfering with what we're doing. Branded for the abattoir. I said, well, maybe so. That's why so many don't come back. Missing 411. It is that, isn't it? Interesting documentary. Anyway, then he flops back down, and we learn it broke his back. It twisted in convulsed in such a manner that his vertebrae snapped, and he's paralysed from the neck down. Anyway, so she's rushed home. She says, right, we're leaving, we're going. She's packing her bag and saying, we're going to, I forgot what he says that she's going, but they're leaving. And Abel calls, and she says, he's called you back. Says he's on his way, and then Ronnie goes to the window and says, Mum, what have you done? Is it here? He looks out the window and says, Mum, what did you do? Anyway, it's the sheriff says they've obviously arrived with the lights on and stuff. They're arresting her for whatever. Saying, what did he do? He's paralysed from the neck down, he's Scott. 3 of the vertebrae in his neck are completely severed. She tries to explain what happened, that she hypnotised him and something was inside him and it twisted his body and all that. And obviously he's not believing it. There you go, she's saying that. But then Abel comes in a minute. And he says, I were there. There, here comes Abel. To save the day, he says, I were there. You had to be there. It was, unbelievable what happened. You had to be there. But, it wasn't Abby's fault. Because we were trying to arrest her. We were reading her reading her Miranda rights. And then, he's saying, she's not capable of, doing that to a man. But I don't know what she's capable of. Anyway, basically Abel calms him down. But so she's not under arrest. She's kind of under house arrest. So he says to her, you're staying in this house. Then you're going to be under 24 hours supervision or observation or whatever. And if you as much as touch the doorknob, I'll arrest you. So she's under house arrest, presumably until he's done his investigation, I suppose. But anyway, so there we go. So they're going to leave a police officer outside to keep an eye on the house. But they're not leaving now because they're not allowed. You see, Ronnie's not happy. Anyway, right. So they all go away. Apart from Ryan, policeman Ryan, he reverses his car, parks his car, and we see that he's got a camera there. There we go. He's got his camera pointing at the house. Right, so he's getting ready. There you go. And he's going to hit record. This is where the sheriff's questioning Abel. And he's saying, that... I was questioning the doctor, as well. And he's trying to, the doctor's trying to convince the whatever the hell his name is, the Sumerian chap, the Sumeriologist. He's trying to explain to him about, alien abductions and stuff like that. But he's obviously having none of that. He's the Sheriff August. But anyway. Right. So, it's where Dr. Tyler's telling her about that, she thinks it's happening to a lot of people all over the world, and there's nothing you can do about it, and etc. There we go. It happens at 3:33 or other times. But anyway, right then suddenly we cut to the policeman outside. Something weird starts happening. There you go. What the hell? Like a light appears through the trees. There we go. That kind of appears. I think it does. I don't know that there already. But he sees something above the house. And we get a glimpse of it, but not much. There we go. We just see a glimpse of it on the police cam. Like a disc-shaped object appears up there. I'll go through it a frame at a time. Because the aliens are coming, the camera goes doolally. Here it goes. But the policeman sees it, and I think you see him walk in front of the camera. There he is. And he says, "I can't believe what I'm seeing. There's something over the Tyler residence." Hang on. Just as the camera sort of like goes all, the picture goes all skew-whiffy, you see something. We're looking up here in this area. You just see a black object appear for like 3 frames or something like that before the camera goes all doolally. Is it going to come? Here it comes. The camera starts. There it goes. Look, there it goes. Something over the house. And then the camera goes out. And he's like, saying, what the blinking flip? And he's describing. Then the camera, you can't see what's happening then. You just see it's just like that. But you can hear him, and he's saying, there's something over the house, and there's shining a beam of light down, and it's pulling them out of the house. So, anyway, then it cuts to, there you go, and you better send somebody down here now. So, we've got an eyewitness, but Sheriff August don't want to know. By the way, I've just noticed it's 3:33. I never actually noticed that before. 3:33. How do they know the time? Because it's not 3:33 everywhere, is it? And what does it matter what time it is in the way that we measure time? I don't know. But anyway. Right, so he gets there. He's trying to tell him what happened, but obviously the sheriff's, doesn't want to know. Yes, Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. But in this film, it's Zimabu Ete, which means apparently, I don't know if it's mentioned, pardon me, in the film, but it means spirit from whom you cannot be saved. Anyway, so that's another that suggests it's demonic rather than alien. Demons in flying saucers, or is it all, part of the same phenomenon? Anyway, right. So they go in, and she's saying they've taken Ashley. So apparently they were all abducted. I think they took them all up, and then they brought Abigail and Ronnie back, but not Ashley. She's saying they've taken Ashley, and Ronnie doesn't remember anything. He says he doesn't know. When he came in the room, she was gone. But obviously the policeman saw them all, didn't he? He says something's taking them. So they were all taken out of the house, weren't they? But just Abigail and Ronnie were brought back. But obviously the sheriff's not believing any of it. He's been very stubborn. But she's saying the light came down and took her away, but the policeman said took them. So maybe she doesn't remember her own abduction here, I don't know. But he says through the ceiling. He says yes, through the ceiling. Which is, what is in the abduction law, people, taking away the beam of light through walls or through closed windows or whatever. It's like transporting, I suppose, in Star Trek. But different. Anyway, so she's she's obviously upset about it. But he's had enough. He's had enough now, and he's taking Ronnie away from her. She said, "I've an officer." He says, "I've an officer outside who saw the whole thing." But then she says, "I want to see what's on the tape." But anyway, he gets cross and he starts smashing the place up. So there we go. Is he going to do it here? Oh no, in a minute. This mirror gets smashed here. But he says he's taking Ronnie away from her, putting him into care because obviously he's not fit to look after him. Saying where's Ashley and all that. But so she's sobbing on the floor. She's lost both her kids now. Anyway, so she decides the only way to find Ashley is to go to the source. She says she's got to basically get herself abducted and talk to the aliens and get Ashley back. So that's what she's going to do. Anyway, so she calls Abel and the other doctor, the Sumeriologist, and they say she wants to be hypnotized. So she wants to learn. Is it this bit where I can't remember? It might be. I might be. We'll find out in a minute. So they're going to hypnotise her. Yes, this is this bit where they hypnotise her. So she wants to talk to the aliens. So there they go. They hypnotise her. She said this is. I forgot her name already. What they call her? Charlotte Milchard. She's very thin, isn't she? Very thin. She needs to eat some pies. Anyway, so they hypnotise her and start going through all that. And oh, there we go. She's talking about the owl looking down at her and it's smiling. Says, I don't think it's an owl. And this is where I think she's going to get abducted now. She's remembering an abduction. Yeah, something's coming into her room. Is it 3:33? Yeah, of course it is. And the figures file into her room, and then the taker. Is she remembering the night that Will died? No, she isn't. But she was screaming. And this is where it goes weird. Oh, then we see part of what they're doing with her. So she's on the spaceship now, and she's going to get probed or whatever. There you go, gasping. sticking something in her shoulder. I mean, she's lucky it's her shoulder, to be completely honest. But then they stick it somewhere else as well. There we go. That's the clue. And then she starts convulsing. There we go. And this is where it goes all doolally now, because obviously the aliens are making their presence known. So she starts freaking out, and it's like, I don't know if it's the film or a bit of both, but there we go. A voice, her mouth stretches open wide, and she, like, you know, her body arches, and then they start hearing the alien voice. There we go. They go, I enforce my will in alien. I can't do an alien voice. And there you go. Not world, no. I don't know. But there you go. She's screaming at him, give me my baby. You know, because she wants a bit of child back. There you go. Child, give me my child. Child never returned my, I don't know what property. Don't know what will go there. I don't know. Anyway, they go, I saviour. This is where it starts saying it's God. Father, I am God. Oh, and that's where she gets, there we go, her scary face. There we go. We see there. And I'm sure, I'm sure in the version, I didn't notice it in the one I watched earlier on. I'm sure I've seen another version that a jaw got dislocated, or unless it's a, you know, Mandela effect, but I don't think it mentions it in this, but I could be wrong. I might be thinking of something else, I could be. But there we go, it's suggesting it's God. And then she collapses. But you can see she's not looking well, is she? As though her jaw is dislocated. But I don't think they say it. Then they all get abducted now, because the camera goes doolally again, and then we get the word Zimabu Eta, which is, you know, the spirit. I forgot what it was now already. I'm useless. Spirit from whom you cannot be saved. There we go. That's what it means. They're not God. The trailer trash of the galaxy. Lovers, to be sure. Lovers. Anyway, so they all get abducted now, because the camera comes back on, and I think it's on its side is the camera, and it falls over, and they're nowhere to be seen. And then nice aurora. And this is where Abigail, the real Abigail's telling us that they were all abducted and brought back the same night, and but without Ashley, obviously. But they can't remember anything of what happened. And she says there, even with the hypnosis, it's black. They can't remember anything about it. So they've done something to them, of the aliens. And then she's, you know, he's saying, the alien or whatever, the creature, whatever, entity said it was God, but she's saying she doesn't think it was God. But it can pretend to be God. And they're showing it again, look. But she says, you know, it can pretend to be God. It's beyond anything you can imagine. It's, you know, it's beyond human understanding. And it's not God, but it can pretend to be. And then she talks about hopelessness. That's what she felt, you know, while it were all happening. It was just hopelessness. But anyway. Losers. Not to kink shame, though, right? Not lovers. Losers, to be sure. Anyway, there she's saying she had to recover from that night. I'm sure that you know, she had her jaw relocated or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know where I saw that. Anyway, so here she is. There's the sheriff's with the file. She's awake. Abel comes in, and now she's. The sheriff's got to draw a line under it somehow, because she's still on about. Because he asks her, what happened to Will? How did Will die? And she says he was murdered. And then he says, no, I'm going to show you some pictures that might upset you. So he shows a picture, a photo. Hang on, there we go. Of Will. There we go. He's got an injury to his temple. And then he also shows, this is the head of the man who used this gun. There we go. So he shot himself in the head. While he was sat on their bed, he shot himself in the head. So I'm guessing, had Will been abducted, as well, Will going through the same thing that Tommy and Scott were going through, and that woman who we never learn what happened to her, I don't know, but we saw her being interviewed, didn't we, earlier? But anyway, so Will going through the same thing, probably, but and he ended up taking his own life, much as Tommy did. But they're saying there was no intruder, and it were trying to, in denial about it. She like imagined that somebody killed him. But anyway, so there we go. So that's that. And they ask again, what happened to Ashley? And then she says to Abel, you know what happened, you experienced it, but he's kind of doesn't say anything. He said, we came back and she didn't, and he doesn't, he doesn't corroborate her story, because obviously I don't think he can believe what happened either. Right. Well, then he's kind of suggesting now that she needs help. She's got a mental instability. Right. So then the director, Ollie, suggests to her, that her credibility is at stake because, how can we expect to believe her story, despite all the video evidence, but believe her story, if she can't even, if she hallucinated the murder of her husband, and she says, that's how she dealt with it. But, there's recordings. There we go. The recordings do not lie. People, things happen to people. There we go. Ah! And, the UFO, there we go, it's showing us there. They put a red ring round it. Woo! And, but she's got to tell her story. And lots of people have been taken and never come back. And she's got to keep hope that Ashley's still out there somewhere, and that one day she'll see her again. There you go. And then they show photos of Ashley. I'm guessing this is photos of the young actress. I forgot her name. Mia McKenna Bruce. I presume it's her. This was her first film, by the way. She's gone on to do other stuff. Don't ask me what. I can't remember. I did look it up. Actually looked up to see if she were really blind, and she's not. Anyway. Oops. So then we see photos of it, and usually, I said, a couple of the photos, they've got like weird stuff on the blemishes on the film, and I'm wondering, is this supposed to be like a supernatural thing? Cause, not particularly on that one, but that one has like these red blotches on. And then on the next one, it's like a big line, line going through it. So give me like Sixth Sense flashbacks, like, because you saw photos on that with Haley Joel Osment with weird things on the photos, wasn't there? Anyway, so there we go. So she wants to see her daughter again. And then he says, okay, well, that's it. We'll leave it there for tonight. And then the camera pans out, pulls out. There we go. And we see that she's in a wheelchair. She's infirm, and that's kind of the end of the film. Then we see him in the woods talking about how the FBI have been to Nome over 2,000 times, but they've only been to Anchorage 300 times or whatever. There you go. But in the end, what you believe is yours to decide. It's a true story. There you go. That's what she says. And then we have some information. Dr. Abel Campos, alias, which Sci-Fi Quest likes, continues to practice psychology in Alaska. I can't remember her name that were in alias. Jennifer Garner came to me all of a sudden. Jennifer Garner. Continues to practice psychology in Alaska. He refused comment and participation in this film. And then the other doctor, the Sumerian lolologist, since attained tenure at a prestigious Canadian university, and he assisted with the Sumerian translations, though declined any further involvement. Sheriff August retired 2 years after the incident and currently resides in northern Alaska. He rejected any and all involvement in this film. Pardon me. There we go. Now 22 years old, Ronnie Tyler remains estranged from Dr. Tyler. He continues to blame her for Ashley's disappearance. I wonder where he lives. Well, he doesn't, it's an actor, but you know what I mean. I wonder where he ended up in the story. It's not... It didn't. You know what I mean. Where can he have gone? In our head canon, that's what I'm trying to say. We know he's got a couple of grandparents somewhere. 2 of his grandparents have died, and another 2 are somewhere else. But it's suggested that Abigail didn't get along with them. So anyway, Dr. Tower was eventually cleared of all allegations against her, including the disappearance of her daughter. She has since relocated to the east coast of the USA. Due to her deteriorating condition, she remains bedridden under constant medical supervision. And then I think it says then Ashley. There we go. Ashley has never been found. Poor Ashley. And that's the end. That's the end of the film. But over the credits, we get some actual. Well, I don't know, but I'm guessing there might be. I don't know. There might not. They might completely made up. But actual like 911 calls about like seeing UFOs and stuff like that. But anyway, so there we go. So it's a cool film, and I don't know why it got such low scores. I really like it. If you're into because I'm into UFOs and stuff like that, and also into like ancient aliens and things like that, and you know the supernatural. But anyway. It's a cool film. I really like it. So, and I think it's really well made. So, and I don't know why it gets low scores. Probably because people don't understand it. Or maybe they just don't like it. But I think it's cool, and I like it that it's left ambiguous. You know, we don't know what the aliens want, or the whatever the visitors will call them. What do they want? If they want anything at all, I don't know. It was probably too open-ended for people. Well, this is it. Let's say it's left ambiguous. It kind of reminds me a bit of a film called The Objective, which we're going to be doing soon. I've got it on DVD, but I can't find the bugger, so I've just ordered it again off eBay. So that's coming. So we'll be doing that, which is it's not similar, but it has a similar feel to it. It's about you might have seen it. It's about like a CIA squad in Afghanistan, and they have to go looking for some missing people in the wilds of Afghanistan, and they encounter weird phenomena. And that's this kind of has a similar feel to it. It was directed by one of the chaps that did Blair Witch Project, but I can't remember which one. Never mind. Yes, so that'll be coming up soon. But yeah, I really like The Fourth Kind. And I like that they keep your options open. Are they aliens? Are they interdimensional? Are they demonic? Are they something else? Are they all of the above? I'll say option 5. All of the above. Something that we have no parameter for. Our minds can't access what's going on. It's almost Lovecraftian. It's something beyond our ken. Anyway. Do you like The Fifth Kind? I don't even know what The Fifth Kind is. Is there a film called The Fifth Kind? If there is, I don't know. But dear. Anywho, right, we'll leave it there. So what's coming up next? Right, Monday. I haven't got that. Monday, we're doing, for Magnificent Mondays, we're doing Deep Rising. I have got the DVD, but I can't find it. Much like I can't find me The Objective DVD. So... whatever. Best friends tried to get internet famous by filming their own survival show out in the woods. But their weekend film trip turns deadly when an unexpected visitor shows up. Oh, right. I might have seen it then. I don't know if it's a found footage one. Hang on, let me look it up. Have I got a... Where are we? The Fifth Kind, 2017. I might not have seen it, to be honest. It doesn't ring any bells. I will look that up. It looks like a found footage, so I will look that up and see if it's on Amazon. Is it on Amazon? Don't know, but I'll find out. I'll probably start watching it and say, oh yes, I have seen it. Anyway, it has bad scores. Well, they always do, don't they? A lot of people don't like found footage films. I really like it, for the most part. But anyway. Anywho, right, we'll leave it there. So thanks, Win Grace and Laura and Sci-Fi Quest. Is that it? Did anybody else? Oh, that's Mage Frey, that mysterious man from Twitch. Also, let me check Rumble, make sure nobody's popped in the chat there. No, they haven't. For giving me company, while we had a look at the fourth kind, now we've got to look up the fifth kind. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. What was I saying? Oh, Deep Rising, that's coming on Monday. I don't know if I'm doing anything over the weekend, sketch time. I don't know, I don't mind. So we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll see thee.